Okay, so if we can start today with a reasonably easy starter, have you always wanted to work in the IT industry, and maybe the sort of supplement to that, whether you have or not, you could just give us a bit of background as to the journey, as to how you've arrived where you are today.
Right. So my answer is probably identical to most women who end up working in technology. No, it was not my original career choice at all. I actually want to be a florist. I love gardening, so that's what I always want to do, but I cannot draw. So that was left out of the question. We always had technology around the house. We had some of the really early computers. My dad was at the time a real techie. We really enjoyed playing with stuff like that. But it wasn't until I finished university and ended up working with Nokia that the technology piece really kind of came to a forefront. And it was less about technology for the sake of technology. It was more about technology for being able to improve and automate some of the mundane pieces of work that we do. So that's kind of where my technology journey then started.
Okay, and in terms of could I just ask what degree you did? It sounds like it wasn't a technical degree, so you got into, was it marketing or something like that? And then what's the journey been since the days at Nokia?
Yeah, so you're correct. I've got a business degree. I've got a master's in international marketing as well. So absolutely nothing to do with technology. Everything to do about collaboration and business and networks. So that's kind of where my background was. And I think that's one of the big things that I always talk to people about. You do not need to have a degree in technology to work in technology. There are so many different avenues into technology. It is not about, having the computer science there as a background. It's about the mindset you have and what you want to do with it.
Okay, and what's your job role today? What do you get involved with on a day-to-day basis?
Right. So as a CIO, and probably with any other senior leader, you never quite know what your day is going to throw. You've always got a packed agenda of meetings, but it can be very varied. Technology is a lot about innovation. It is about people. It is about governance. It is about compliance, but mostly it is about people. So talking to people, understanding what their needs are, and driving the agenda forward for the company, but using technology as the backdrop to support people in their day-to-day work. So that kind of tends to be the majority of my day and how I fill my days. Of course, with technology, you also then got the darker side of things, which people always get terribly excited about. And there's lots of items in the news at the moment around it, which is the cybersecurity piece. And the reality now is that technology is a function that has got the ability to either protect the business or take business down to its knees. We are so dependent on technology. So there is always that extra edge by being a technology leader of the importance you have making sure that the business stays operational and everybody stays safe.
Okay, and in terms of what the company actually does, can you just give us a quick summary of the focus of the company you work with?
Okay, so Endava is a technology company. We create software for our clients. We deliver on a project basis. We also do consultancy work, but mainly it is about delivering software for our clients, developing new systems for them or integrating systems, but also doing some managed services works as well, which is running and operating systems on their behalf.
Okay, and in terms of where you've arrived at today, I'm imagining there were some challenges along the way. So if you're able to share any of those, and bearing in mind the sort of focus of the series, which is women in IT, would you attribute any of those challenges to the fact that you are a female, or do you think they were just general challenges that anyone might encounter, in the workplace?
So that is a good question. So I've always been of the view that you know, it's what you bring to the table. That's the most important thing, regardless of your gender, your background, your education, your ethnicity. But there is unfortunately the added challenge of being a woman in technology. Literally, we are outnumbered. I believe about 5% of senior technology leaders are women. That is not good enough. So there are the added challenges of being taken seriously, especially when you come in with not having a technology degree as part of your background. You know, you need to work that little bit harder to have the credibility. But I don't see that as being something that has been bad for me. It just means that, given my personality, it just means that I've pushed a little bit harder and tried a little bit harder, and also look at things from different angles. And I think that's the biggest benefit women have, and they should be focusing on when they're looking at careers in technology. There is a different view that women bring to the mix. But what we need to remember, that women also represent half of the world's population, a little bit more actually. So our views and how we view technology and how we want to use technology and how we want to improve technology is actually a really, really key viewpoint to bring in. So I would say anybody who comes into technology is to actually draw upon the difference that they bring, and use that to be able to change the balance of the conversations.
Okay, and in terms of the time you've been working in the IT sector, have you noticed a sort of improvement, changes to the attitudes to both women and sort of the diversity question in general, or do you still think it's, you know, there's a way to go, should we put it like that?
There is definitely a way to go. You know, and technology is not the only sector. You know, that there are all sectors. If you haven't got that balanced diversity across every single sector, be it men or women, you know, you are not going to get the best out of it. So my view is the 50-50 representation should happen to be able to have the best possible out of anything. Now, there is a way to go. There's been a lot of debate around, you know, should we be pushing STEM at schools and educating and giving girls bigger opportunities and giving role models for them to move into the STEM. Now, that is clearly something that is very important. Less so in technology, because technology, as I said, there are other avenues to come into technology sector. So that's kind of one piece there, but definitely we need to have more of the role models, but we shouldn't just have that one-sided conversation. We do have some extra challenges also, I believe, around big tech at the moment. We need to start getting the message out there that big tech is not representing technology. They are a small, vocal, very visible part of what technology is, but actually technology is so pervasive and it's everywhere that we need to move a little bit away from that, because the big tech is dominated by egos and attitudes, and it's not the full representation of what the sector is.
And do you find, I mean, I have to say personally, I find it surprising. I mean, to me, the IT industry is incredibly exciting because, you know, every aspect of life, you know, drill down a little bit, there's some IT in the background, you know, making it all work. Do you find it perhaps surprising that people aren't more attracted, you know, and again, the sort of the minority groups and not that women are minority, but, you know, the diversification. Did you just find that a bit surprising that people aren't more excited and there isn't more made of the fact of what a great career, you know, there is to be had around the IT, which I say is basically driving our lives these days?
Yeah, I do agree with you. I do find it a little bit surprising that you know, we haven't been able to capitalize on that message, that it is a really, really exciting sector to be in. You know, there's technology is healthcare technology. Take that for one of the examples at the moment. That is something that I believe women would be absolutely brilliant at. the creativity, the innovation that goes into that. And there's so much improvements that needs to happen in women's health anyway, from a research approach. So I'd look at that and go, that would be an incredible opportunity for somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur and start leading the way in that space. We are seeing obviously a lot of women going into the femtech section of health tech right now. And that is a really good example. We just need to see more of those, because you're right, there is just so much in technology. But I think it has got that domination of the big technology companies at the moment. And there is a certain image that these big companies give out. You look at, for example, Elon Musk. He's a very controversial figure. He is not going to be attractive for a huge number of individuals, a population who might be interested in technology. But if he is seen as somebody who represents technology, that is automatically going to exclude people from joining technology companies.
Okay, so you've referenced STEM as one way in, but can you think of other ways? I think you mentioned role models as well, but are there more ways you think creatively that to attract more women into the industry? As you say, maybe it's just saying they're not all like, as you say, the big tech companies. There are lots of normal technology companies. I mean, any thoughts as to how we can sort of raise the profile of the industry and get more women involved?
Well, I think so. It does start very early on. Obviously, we've now got digital native children. They all know how to use applications. But what we're missing, I believe, in all of this, if you look at the curriculum that is taught at school around computer science or computing, it is really dry. It's not exciting. It doesn't focus on the art of the possible and the creativity that you get from technology. It focuses on putting code together, or talking about mainframe computing or tape backups, which is not a reality anymore, especially for these kids. So there's definitely a message that we need to start building around technology, which is the focus on the creative side of it, the innovative side of it, not just the pure engineering side of it.
Okay, and in terms of whether it's people coming towards the end of school or further education, or people maybe looking to move careers, are there any bits of advice or thoughts you can give to women that might be, as I say, looking at the sector and wondering how to get in, or whether it's for them? Any thoughts on that?
So as kind of my career or education has shown, it is not a linear assumption that you just go from what you've been educated in and then you go in and you work in that sector. Actually, that happens very, very rarely unless it's a vocational role like a doctor. So I think it's definitely keeping that open mind. But even when you go into a company, I'd say for example, for graduate programs that are running for most big organizations, it's making sure that when you join those programs, you experience everything the company has to offer, and that includes the IT function, to get a feeling for what it could be and what it can be. So there's also awful lot of education roles that women are very good in, which actually naturally lend themselves towards technology. For example, languages. There is a definite link there between linguistic skills and the logical skills required in solving problems in technology. So it's not just about the STEM; it is that wider piece as well on what you can do. But literally, don't exclude it. Go and take a look, go and find out. A lot of us are going to be working now until we're nearly 70. So, no point just sticking to one thing. Try what is right for you and take it from there.
Okay, lovely. And maybe just as we finish, if you had someone granted you one wish, something you could change in the industry, that annoys you, or just to make it better, whatever. Maybe, if there are a couple of things, I won't limit you to one, but just any thoughts as to what you might introduce or do to improve the industry, change it.
Right. Okay. So there's magic wand is an amazing thing. You can come up with a list that will go on forever. But I think one of the things I would definitely like to see a shift in. I mentioned it earlier that it's all about people. Everything we do is all about people. Technology is an inanimate object. It is a concept, but it does raise an awful lot of emotions. And sometimes you get very emotional about something that is not truly real, tangible. You cannot touch it, but you forget that there's the people behind it. And I think that is something that I would like to remind people about. It is technology is also all about people. So it's having that consideration and thinking around, who are those individuals who are running and creating that technology for you every day.
Okay. Helena, it's been lovely to chat to you. I appreciate you giving me the time. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.